All right, all right. Got a couple minutes before we start. Okay. Come on in whenever you can. It's okay. William, how you doing? All right. And we hit okay over here. Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me okay, William? Just give me a thumbs up. Just give me a chat. Check in the chat that you can hear me. All right, Facebook. I'm going to assume that everything is working correctly. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I see that. At least it's being chatted, marked. Okay. We still got a couple of minutes. William was it's good to finally make connection with you. I appreciate that. And start the summary. AI companion is on. Okay. So today on Father's Day, first of all, I just want to say happy Father's Day to every man out there that has committed to being a father and connected to people. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I am a father and a grandfather. I have fostered, adopted, and cared for over 40 children in my lifetime because not only that's the reason, but because let's face it, there is a pandemic proportion type of a lack of fathers in the homes. And so that's why I'm doing this. Because just because we can engender a child doesn't make us a dad, doesn't make us a father. It makes us a father to a degree, but the kind that you commit to. Look, I have fostered and I have worked with men who are older than me, and they still receive this fatherhood relationship because you can be a father, but there's a difference in between you can be a good father and then you can be good at being a father, right? There's a big difference in between those two, don't you think? So think about what I just said. You can be good father, or you can also be good at being a father, but not necessarily the two are alike. They don't function in the same moment. So that's why today. And so, why you look, if you are live here today and you have a father, this applies to you. But if you desire to be a father, then this applies to you even more. And if you desire, and if you're a father and you desire to have better relationship with your children, then I would say that this is definitely for you as well. I'm going to, at the end, read to you my family creed, but now I need to give you context on how this whole story came together so that it makes any kind of sense to you. At the end of this presentation, I want to make it as short as possible, keep it under an hour. I know everybody needs to go do their thing, and that's okay. That's 100% acceptable. So if you got to go before, I understand that. If you're live, let me know by putting in the chat live. If you're watching this via replay, please enter the replay. So before I get into the story, let me say that this one piece of tool that I use to help, and I have helped many thousands of families and people, and that's no exaggeration, okay? This is the one tool. And I learned this way back when I first came to this country as a young man. I was 18 years old. I was a foreigner, and a pastor took me under his wing, who was, very successful both as a pastor, as a father, and as a businessman. And not only that, but then he cited a scripture in an ancient book that solidified why this one tool is the best tool anybody could ever give you if you're trying to bring to cohesiveness in your life. All right. So this tool is phenomenal. I'm not selling you anything today. I want to give because this was given to me and it has completely changed my life. And now, why I can say it's changed my life, because from the moment that I received this information, I began to change myself and it began to change me. And it took me many years. It took me a good 20 years to really define it the way I have written it and the way I'm going to cover it at the end. Okay. If anything that I say to you resonates with you and you would like to have a further conversation, you could just let me know, give me a notification and DM, and put in the word manifesto, and I'll get back to you again. But that being said, let's get into this story as to what it is. Let me start first by telling you that I'm a metaphysical teacher. What that means is that I spent some time digging into, all the different types of, not every single one, but most of the religions and the spirituality. I have a PhD in metaphysics and in religious studies. Just because you have a piece of paper that says that you've done something doesn't make you anything. But I can tell you that I've got a lot of practical application, okay? Because I've worked with horses, I've worked with people, I've trained people how to deal with their animals, I've fostered and rehabilitated animals, but most of all, I've worked directly with at least 40 children myself and hundreds of family and thousands of people over the last 40 years. I started when I was 10 years old. When I was 10 years old, my dad decided that he didn't want to do this no more. So he says, "You are now the son, you are now the man of the house." I had 5 sisters. And so 5 of my sisters were now in the care of a 9-year-old boy. I had no idea what that meant. I didn't know how to deal with that. Okay. So I did the best that a 10-year-old could do. But let me back it up just one more year before that. I remember being as a little boy looking towards heaven and saying, "I want to be a father, a great father just like you." And a year later, there I was being thrusted in a position in which I had no idea how to manage it. You know what? I didn't have the capacity. But over time, it put questions inside of me that caused me to develop my own process to help other fathers because I needed it. I've had as many as 9 children in my house at one time. All of them, sitting at my table, having breakfast, all, just because I cared, right? That's what I did as a foster, care, as a foster father. Yeah, it's been a crazy long journey to get through all of that. So then after 17 years of age, I left the country of Puerto Rico, came to United States, and got married at 18, had my child. By the time he was 2.5, or I was 23, I joined the military. And there, you know what? I continued to be this leader of people and of men and of young men. And so there was a lot of 23-year-old, yeah, sorry, a lot of I was 23. There was a lot of 18-year-olds that were scared, afraid, and didn't know what to do. And guess what? There I was. I found myself fathering, being a dad to them, being a leader. And so they can be synonymous, but being a father, being a dad is much more deeper than that. And I'm going to get to this. So then back to 1988 when I got involved as a leader at a church. And the pastor there, Pastor Tammo, said to me that I needed to read this book on leadership, and then he gave me a planner. When with the planner was Stephen Covey's planner, and he said, "Learn this," and it had a quote about taking care to write down exactly what you want to accomplish and making it plain so that, you know, let me just quote it the best that I can from Old King James. And it's talking to a man who's standing on a tower on a watch at night. And it says, "Watchman, watchman, what of the night," right? Don't be a mute dog that does not bark. But then it goes on to say something to this effect, that write the vision and make it plain, so that he that runneth can run. And though it may delay, do not be dismayed, for it shall surely come to pass. So what does that mean? It means, take your vision with clarity and write it down so that, well, who's the one doing the running? Doing the running is the energy of the universe that'll support you and will push you and it'll get you to change. And that's what I did. So I just wrote it down, just exactly what he told me to do. And I found it to be very cathartic, right? Because you're writing down. But then it wasn't good enough. So I began to rewrite it. And every year I made it a habit of rewriting this story. I don't know, have you ever done that? Let me know if you have. Have you ever written down something and then you go, you know what? I want XYZ and I want it this way. Well, me and my second wife, we did that. We wrote down what we wanted, and I remember saying, "Oh, we want to have a farm with this and this, that, and the other, and be able to wake up in the morning and have the coffee already made for us, and be able to sit there." Do you know at that time when that happened, when we wrote it, automatic coffee machines, at least they were not in our knowledge when we wrote it down, but it happened. And so 2 years later, we're in our farm and we have a machine that you can program to have your cup already served and ready for you. Have you ever had something like that happen to you? Well, this is the same thing. Okay. And again, I don't want to get too deep, but I'm going to jump in to think about where the thoughts come from. Thoughts come from nowhere, right? A thought is outside of us. It's in some kind of space, distance, and we pull it into our spirit and through our mind into our brain, and then we process that thought, and then we either speak it or we write it down and we manifest it. This is exactly the same thing. Every thought that you have has a chemical reaction inside your body, and it has a production that follows suit to that particular thought. You have the same thought over and over and over, you will create a thick dendrite in your brain that will connect to an emotion, and that emotion will always be readily available for you to access it, whether you want it or not. Think about a song that you hear and it makes you sad or it makes you happy. Well, you can depress yourself really quickly by just having a thought that is completely attached to a memory about maybe your father passed away. Every time you hear that thought, and every time you think about this, you feel certain kind of way. That emotion is inside your body. It's not in your brain. The thought is being reproduced and recreated in the brain, but the memory is inside your body somewhere. So that's how we get feelings and emotions attached to these things. Okay. Not too long ago, I asked, I said to my coach, I said that I wanted to build a business, and I wanted to have a job that allowed me the freedom to move about and run around, and at the same time be able to coach people, and that I wanted to be in construction. Do you know that whole thing manifested within a year's time? It's just amazing. So in order for this to work, this whole thing that I'm sharing with you today, again, I'm going to read mine, so give you an idea, a context on how it should sound. But you have to have a mission. It can't be just something that you're going to write it and then put it in a corner. So my mission is that we are a family with an eye to the eternal. We seek to live, to love, and to leave a legacy, but not just to leave a legacy, but to live the legacy that we want to leave for the second generation. That reflects a powerful and practical application to what we consider to be the Word of God. I'm not here to discuss religion. Okay, what are the values? You got to have values of some sort that make sense to you. You know, and a value is as simple as what's important to you. Again, I'm giving you the quick and the just of it so that you can walk away knowing that you can create your own manifesto and you can literally bring in your future. So I talked about the thoughts being out there. You have an idea of what the future looks like for your family, and and then you get disappointed throughout the day because you're like, you bump into, a situation, you go, yeah, that's not what I wanted. That's not how I wanted to live my life. And so um, you get into an argument and it's not what you wanted. It's not how you expected life to be. And so slowly you start to forget the good emotions. Okay. But when you create a mission statement and basically you write down your values and you make a clear vision of what it is that you want to see, those three things, right? Companies do it all the time, mission statement and and all that other stuff. But there's more to it than that, okay? This is about taking the family creed, writing every word so that it is pregnant with meaning to you. And that's why I'm not going to be able to do all of that. I'll give you the just on how to do it within, this hour that we have. But you're going to have to be able to craft it, and you're going to have to be able to work on it, and you're going to have to be tweaking it, and you're going to have to continue to change it until it makes so much sense to you that every word makes you feel a certain kind of way. So I will share that family creed. But first, I want to tell you a couple of my values, just so that you get a perception as to where you want to be. But before you can know where you want to be, you got to know where you're at. And so knowing where you're at is making an assessment on the values, what matters to you. So my values are to pursue a debt-free lifestyle. One, maintain a flow of unity in all decisions. Okay. Live a life free of guilt, shame, and condemnation. Right? That's a statement unto itself. How do you have a conversation without throwing guilt and catching guilt? Right? So nurture creative self-expression. This is a big word right here. What is self-expression? What you feel without any shame. All of these are going to make sense when I read to you my family creed or the manifesto. All right. Interdependence. Interdependence is different than codependence or independence. Interdependence is like the trees, the sequoia trees from the red forest that are so huge that you could drive a car through, and they don't have deep roots. But what they have is they have interlinked roots that are shallow, and those roots hold each other. When the wind comes, they're locked in and they don't go anywhere. So that's interdependence. Okay, let me do a real quick check on my YouTube channel. It should be working just fine. Yes, it is. All right. So then there is balance. Now I've changed that word balance to be more harmony, because people started using the word balance as a oh, you can't have work-life balance. Look, I'm talking about harmony. So it's having harmony is work and divine rest. What does that mean to be divine, to have divine rest? Again, that would take me another 2 hours to discuss what divine rest really means. You should have 1/7 of your life divided so that you can get into that divine rest until it becomes a part of you. So work hard for 6 days out of the week as a beast. Don't slow down on yourself and then just chill for one. That's what I mean. Okay. Set realistic and obtainable goals. That's a value. I have a tendency, I'm A-type, so I'll just put some really huge values out there. All right. The next one is continual personal growth in all dimensions of lifelong learning, intimacy with my wife, with God, and health and wellness, right? And then build relationships that are grounded in love, demonstrate mutual respect, accountability, and a shared responsibility. And so my vision is to create a place where creative self-expression takes place, and so that I can affect everybody, even if I just meet them for one short moment in time, that they would be impacted to be a better human being. So those are my vision, those are my values, and those are my mission. And now we can get into the most key part here of this whole program, which is the family creed. So family creed should be so pregnant with the meaning to you, so that you don't have to wrestle with any other words. And once you write it down, you put it where you can see it, walking out the door, on your car, in the bathroom, in your bedroom. And the words that you write will begin to change you internally. It'll begin to have this change that it will be imperceptible to you, but people will notice it. It will absolutely magnify the truth of who you are. You see, you know that why people say men are living a life of quiet desperation? Because they are. We're oppressed as fathers, we're concerned, the laws have changed so much that, some people are afraid to discipline their children, and some men are afraid to speak up what their mind really, how they really feel. And so we're in a very precarious time, and this is another reason why I am sharing this with you. So here's the family creed. You ready? Pay attention. We are a generous, loving, and kind family. We're not just a family. We are a generous, loving, and kind family. Generosity starts at the home. Loving starts with me first. And kindness has got to always happen at home, because there was a time in my life as a young man that I was kind to everybody else, and I demanded so much of my family. And that's why. Um, Welcome, Marian. That's why this is important. That one statement alone could be the whole creed, could be the whole manifesto, but it goes on. Our home. It's not my house, right? It's not her house. Our home is a place of safety for individuality and creativity. See, this is important. If your children are not free to be themselves, and listen to what I'm saying to you, you can yell at your kids and tell them, you gotta eat this and all this other stuff when they're little. But what do you do? It's at my house, and it's, my way or the highway. We say stuff like that. That is not a place for the children, for your wife to feel safe, to be an individual and express themselves. This is not to give them the freedom that they say, well, today I want to be a man and tomorrow I want to be a woman. No, I'm not talking about that. That's not freedom. I'm talking about the freedom to express the individual that you are. The creativity is how you show up and are creator, right? You bring life. A creator brings more life, not death, not restriction. Walk, walk. We walk by the strength of our existence, overcoming all obstacles. This is huge, because we're going to always have arguments, and just see, I have to be able to say that about myself. I'm going to walk and overcome and in the power of my own existence, and overcome every obstacle, limiting beliefs. If I fail, I'm going to overcome them. And we live with purpose. That's the soul's transcendence, to live with a purpose that changes your life. We do not cower to shame nor yield to fear. I will not allow somebody else to bully me psychologically into a position, especially in my house. It doesn't matter who it is. And when I was younger, it wouldn't matter if it was my dad or my grandpa, just nobody. Okay. And that's the kind of power that you have to have, and the power that you have to exchange and share with your family members. We do not cower to shame nor yield to fear, but we emerge triumphant with courage. With courage is because it's a French word, and its origin to fill your heart, to fill it with blood, encourage. Okay. And the word triumphant, it's not we are victorious. I'm the one. Triumphant, everybody celebrates. In a triumph entry, everybody's celebrating, not just one person. Everybody's celebrating the one person because everybody has a commitment into that win. So that's why every word has to mean something super deeply to you. All right, coming to the second half now. And the statement is, we are truth seekers. And then I just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. But I'm going to take it a little bit different. We are truth seekers is a manifesto statement unto itself. We esteem wisdom over knowledge. Because we're truth seekers, we esteem wisdom over knowledge. Because we're truth seekers, we seek truth over facts. It doesn't matter if I saw you doing it, but what's the truth in that situation? Because we're truth seekers, we seek mastery over performance. Because we're truth seekers, we seek discernment over blind obedience. And so you should be able to have enough freedom in your household where your kids will be comfortable enough, where your spouse will be comfortable enough to say, I did not follow your order because I had a different discernment about the situation, and here's what I did, and here are the reasons why, and you should be able to celebrate it together so that you can together overcome the situation courageously and triumphantly. So it's been just 23 minutes past the hour. I've already covered the whole family creed. I did it in a really quick way because I wanted to respect your time as a father. I want to respect your time for showing up. And so I'm going to read it one more time. And then if you have any comments, any questions, I'll take them. Again, if any of this, what I'm saying to you resonates with you, then reach back to me and let me know how this has affected you. Take it and write it down. Dare today to write down what you want in the future. Like if you had everything perfect in the future, you were like, I had money, I have health, I have wealth, I have this, I have that. What kind of family would I be living like? This is where you start. And because you start from your imagination and you start to write it out with your hand, you create a energy that causes the universe to want to partner with you and bring it into your life. And so that's why this family creed is a single one number tool that you could use to overcome every situation. You can apply this. I use it with all my coaching clients. This is where we start. Because if you don't have this, you really don't have anything. All you're doing is you're seeking some kind of shadow reward. And so the Brito family creed goes like this. We're a generous, loving, and kind family, period. Our home is a place of safety for individuality and creativity. We walk by faith, overcoming all obstacles. We live with purpose. We do not cower to shame nor yield to fear, but we emerge triumphant with courage. We are truth seekers. We esteem wisdom over knowledge, truth over facts, mastery over performance, and discernment over blind obedience. So we've covered the mission, the vision, the values, and the family creed. All of this composes what the manifesto is. being able to create this for yourself and daring to adjust it, it becomes a living document because you write it. It has to come from you first as a leader of the home. And when you write it, you share it with your partner, and they fall in love with the trajectory in which you want to go because she begins to believe, and says, wow, that's a leadership that I want to have. And your children say, okay, well, what does a family look like to your children? And they start saying things. And the next thing you know, all of you are adding. But if you don't put that seed of creation first, then it can never exist. But if you just sit believing that, one day everything's going to work out, that one day doesn't come. Create it now, dare to pull from the deep side of who you are and share it from that place of depth. And that is how you create a family creed that causes the universe to want to partner with you and bring that future into your life by you daring to write what you want. Don't worry about if anybody's going to see it. Write it like you were going to share it with the whole world, or it didn't matter if the whole world was present, but write it with every intent that you have. And you will see in less than a year a totally different person. I guarantee you that you will be better in less than a week if you dare to do this. Write it out and get back to me. Give yourself a week. And there's some more techniques behind it, right? One of them is, and I'll share that with you, and I'll close with this. Okay. One of them is to make love to that document. What I mean, make love. You take it and you sit down and you breathe it, and you breathe it and you read it and you touch it. Right? You're touching it as you read it, and you just breathe it and you read it, and you get all your emotions into what you write. And that is how life begins to be molded around you and not you around the events that happen to you. All right. Last call for any comments. I see nothing in the chat. So, and nothing directly from Facebook. And I will check YouTube. And it looks like YouTube, no comments as well. Okay, so this is where we're at the moment. We have reached the point of the grand finale. Okay, so any comments? Any complaints? So with that being said, take care. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you for showing up. Again, if you are live, put it live. If you're on a replay, put in the chat the replay. And I'm telling you, I know this is quick and easy. I just cannot express to you what 20. Look, it's been, I'm 57 years old, okay? And so the first time I received it, I said I was 18, right? So think about that. Think about that journey. It's almost 30 years that I've been using this. And the last time I modified my family creed was almost 20 years ago. I think it was. Yeah. Let me see. No, 12 years ago was the last time I changed it. And so I'm experiencing that beautiful life experience. And I've given you a tool that you don't have to do anything else but follow that tool and the things that I shared with you today. And your life will be significantly different. Guarantee you that. You'll like how you feel. All right, ciao.